This podcast is brought to you by Primary Arms. Primary Arms seeks to provide the best shopping experience for everything firearms. With over 13,000 products from over 400 top brands, Primary Arms carries a complete selection of rifles, handguns, firearms parts, shooting gear, apparel, and more. Every order comes with a commitment to superior service, backed by fast shipping and an expert support team. Primary Arms, serving freedom since 2008. Find out more at frn.deals/PA. Welcome to the AR-15 podcast. This show is for you if you just bought your first rifle or if you've been building them for years. There is something we can all do to take our black rifles to the next level. My name is Nick Dooley, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Tyler Brockle.
Well, hello there.
And Garth Hofer.
Hi.
How are you guys doing?
Oh, I'm not too bad at all, man. It's Monday. Things are moving in the right direction until we get all the snow coming in this week.
Yeah, we'll see how much of that actually comes.
Yeah.
I'm totally over it. I was in Des Moines, which is Iowa, this weekend, and you would think Iowa and South Dakota would be somewhat similar, and there is no snow and 55 degrees. And then I come back here and I have 4-foot snow drifts in my front yard still. I'm just done.
Yeah, that's a thing.
I mean, I'm ready to get out on the road with the slingshot, but at the same time, I know if I can do that, I can definitely go out in the field and work. And so I'm in that happy medium of let it snow, but I'm done with it.
I'm also just done with it. I do not want to move snow anymore. I don't want to shovel. I don't want to snowblow. I don't want to drive a snowplow. I am just ready for nice weather to be here.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So did you guys do anything fun or interesting in the last week since we have last spoken?
Tyler?
Whew. I had a 3-day drill this weekend, so I did nothing but work, and there was no firearm related topics during the weekend, unfortunately. Yourself?
Garth?
No, it's a big zero on gun related things this week. I was busy working and doing things of that nature. I guess no, there was one like minor plus thing. As you know, we have a buddy named Paul, and he recently got a girlfriend, and so she's looking to get into her first firearm, and so we're trying to find her the right gun. And I think him and I are more excited about it than she is. So,
Desert Eagle 50 cal. Chicka, yeah.
Oh man, I thought it was just cocaine and kukris. But no, I have not. I was planning on going out and getting a little bit of range time in this last weekend, but surprise snow and cows and other things came up. And when you don't plan on receiving 30 cows from a sale barn, you suddenly change all of your plans.
Yes.
And go out and do that type of stuff. But instead, I instead did some weapons maintenance for the last rifle I took to the class we went to, because well, it was, I shot a couple hundred rounds suppressed and everything like that, so we did a little bit of maintenance to just clean everything up and get all that stuff taken apart, or got the carbon knocked off from the cans. And then the other thing I did that isn't really gun related, I did some radio testing. That was kind of handy with some new radios I'd gotten in and running them with some old. And
are they new GMSR ones, or what are they?
They are. This is just a little. They're. It's still just a factory preset GMRS, but
Okay.
they're a little bit simpler to operate than the other ones. So they're a higher power than like a blister pack,
Okay.
but it's. I mean, still has a removable antenna and things of that nature, but from the factory setup for GMRS. And when we were out doing some stuff, moving cows around and things of that nature, we were about 2.5, 3 miles apart and still maintaining solid comms with that, which was a handy little test just because I hadn't had a chance to try those out at any range. So that is part, kind of the range kit. And having that where, a guy sometimes forgets about it because it's one thing to have all the cool guy stuff. It's another
Yeah.
to actually start, using it.
Right.
And some of that will come into what we're talking about today.
100%.
Which is
Well, we were going to talk a little bit about chest rigs and the like. And I know that we can't really get into chest rigs without really talking a little bit about what goes on our battle belt as well. And there may be some plate carrier bleed over as well.
Fair.
I suppose I can stomach that.
Yep. So I hope so. It was your idea.
All right. So I guess
out.
let's start with when would you use a chest rig over a full armor kit?
So this is one of those things where you start to get into things where it's, I like a paired, there's a meme that I should find, and it's I like a pared down slick chest rig because it doesn't slow me down while I'm moving, says the 500-pound guy who isn't running through the woods.
You're dang right I ain't running through the friggin' woods.
But there are times to run, like if you're doing long range patrolling or things of that nature, one would generally not want to wear armor. There are times if you're looking to go, get speed over security is when you would generally run a chest rig, in my opinion.
Yep. A lot of people also wear them for competitions. I know that's primarily what I bought mine for, when I don't necessarily want to run a full armor kit. Light, fast, and you can still carry all the stuff you need to carry when you don't necessarily need protection.
Yep. And so I've got a handful of different chest rigs.
Mm-hmm.
And like I have the one that the army gave me. The one they issued me, which is the TAP system, which is one step above hot garbage. It is
better than it was.
I was gonna say,
I'll give them that.
It is a definite improvement. When I am doing some of the military stuff, I will run a gray ghost gear split chest rig, which looks a lot like the new Spiritus chest or split chest rig.
Okay. And why is that? Why do you like that one, I guess?
So the first chest rig I bought for my own was a Condor chest rig, and Condor is a company that everyone automatically goes, "Oh, it's just junk." But I have had some Condor gear that is just like damn near indestructible.
I've had it both ways, but yeah, I've had stuff that has fallen apart right away. I have stuff that I can't. I want it to fall apart so I can go buy something else, but it just doesn't.
Yeah, one of the best like packs or rucksacks, whatever you want to call it, I ever had was a Condor Convoy. And like I used that thing for years for everything. Like it was what I
Right.
took to guards with me. It was what I traveled with. It was what I took on motorcycle trips. It was what I took to the range. And the only reason I finally got rid of it was I was using it as a range bag as its last iteration of life.
Mhm.
And all of the dividers inside had finally like ripped through. So it was just one pocket. And it didn't really matter which pocket you put something in, it all was the main pocket.
Yeah. Nope.
And it was like I can't argue with a bag like ripping getting some rips in it over the course of using it for 15 years. And then I bought a Condor chest rig, and this was the first one I did. It was when I first shot. Like I looked around and saw some of the other guys on like the shooting team wearing them at the MAC that we go to, and I went, "All right, man, these must work." And I straight up bought it off Amazon,
Oh yeah.
and I still have it. It's got a an H harness that hooks into a camelback. It's
Mhm.
got a really nice big admin pocket in the front, and it came with six. It was a 6-and-6 rig, so it had two double rifle mags with two double pistol on each one,
Mhm.
and I added two more to the outside of it, so I had 8-and-8 right across my front,
There you go.
and that was what I needed, and I could flip that whole thing up, pretty much under my chin and get low enough on the prone. Which it is nicer to get in the prone wearing a chest rig than it is wearing a plate carrier because you can get a little bit lower.
Yes, and I see that a lot in both chest rigs and armor kits as well, right? Guys tend to want to do this thing where they double stack triple mag pouches, and then I've also seen guys who want to put these massive med pouches on the front as well. So next thing you got like 8 to 10 inches of shit sticking out from your beer gut the way it is. And one thing, it's just weird because then if you have a rifle slung across your front, it's way the hell out there. And then when you go down to get in the prone, it also kind of, you know, it makes it a little more difficult. So, my recommendation, whether you're wearing a armor kit or a chest rig especially because it's meant to be light and not bulky, is stop stacking this crap out in front of you. Um, I mean, I still like to keep like my right side fairly clean so it doesn't mess with my pistol draw. But like my particular chest rig, which is set up for the MAC shooting competition, I do have 6 megs on it, but they're one single row. And normally that's a little excessive. I would at max recommend 4, 3, if not 4. Um, the only reason I have 6 is it's set up for this very, very specific competition. But I recommend having that stuff as close to your body as you can. Position it so that it's not interfering with your draw, your pistol draw, and then you can also position stuff as well. Um, if you're running a sling, to keep that in mind. Your mags are sticking out. Where's that sling normally setting? Where does the rifle normally sit in relation to where the things are on your chest rig? Um, so different considerations there. But uh, point I'm trying to make is I recommend not having it just stick super far out.
Yeah, and when I got into the chest rig that I run now, like again for the same thing, shooting for the Mac or the Winston, which is one very specific event at those that you need to have 8-and-8, and with that I run my that's where I have my Gray Ghost split rig, and it's because you could get lower.
Right.
It has 4 inches of space in the front, and that one I run 4 on each side. I
Yep.
have I still run 8. But it's 4 all the way around going back to my sides.
Mhm.
And I don't ever recommend that setup except for this one very, very specific set. Like that's my one. I pick it up, I'm like, okay, look at this. See how I have this set up? Everyone goes, yeah, man, I'm gonna set up just like that. Well, don't unless you need to do exactly what I'm doing.
Right. 100%. And that's a good point, right? Like chest rig setups, just like armor setups, just like weapons, um, everything has a specific purpose, right? And you can set it up for a particular thing. Like for instance, when I was shopping around for different chest rigs, I was looking at the Haley Strategic Micro, right? That chest rig is really meant to be more of a minimalistic chest rig, and I see them market it like that all the time, where you can fit that chest rig with 3 mags and some admin stuff in very small pockets in your range bag. So if you're looking for just having a little bit of stuff to carry with you that's super portable, like that's a great option. But that's not what my particular chest rig is set up for, because I have it set up to carry more stuff. Um, but I'm also not carrying it around with me as a not a concealed carry, but a portable option to pull out when I need it.
Well, that's how I felt with your chest rig, Dooley, that I got to finally use, because I haven't used chest rigs before until we went down to the AR class. And that's how I felt yours was, that you carried your pickup. It's a very minimalistic setup, set for 3 mags, and that's it. I actually have finally ordered a chest rig, and I did the Dooley thing, and I ordered off Amazon, and I got a one Tigris, I think is what it was. I didn't even think of the Condor ones. I just looked those up. I should have went with that. It was cheaper. But me personally, I'm with Tyler on this too. Switching from a full plate kit to the chest rig was a huge relief on my back alone, and for competitions and shooting, I think that's the great thing about them is it's so light and versatile what you can stick on them. So I plan on running them in the future, and I'm looking forward to going that route.
So we've talked a lot about it. We kind of just dove straight into chest rigs and what the modern is, and like there's a couple ways, because like as you're saying, there's like the micro and all this stuff where they'll attach different placards on them for like much like on a plate carrier, where you can just remove your placard, be like, okay, today is gonna be we're gonna run 308 today. So you throw on your placard or chest rig setup that has 308 mags, and however you have that small kit set up. But let's kind of talk about where the chest rig came from. So you guys realize that chest rigs have actually been in service for a long, long time, right?
Oh yeah,
No,
I mean, shit. Even when I got in 2010, I was rocking a Vietnam era, the suspender type.
Well, like the LCE,
There it is.
the LCE. That's like, I'm not going to call that a chest rig. That is load carrying equipment. That was a pistol belt with suspenders and like a couple oddly proportioned mag pouches that happened to hold grenades too.
Yeah. I was thinking those. It was more snacks at that time, but yeah, the little pouches that went up the suspenders.
I'm intimately familiar with that setup.
Yes.
And so like even looking back at what we had, we had some upgraded stuff. One of the best shooters I've ever seen ran an M81, a woodland camouflage. It was the first LBV, and it would run mags like pointing at a 45 degree running up your chest.
Yeah.
As part of this weird woven vest. And that was what they called it. It was, you went from load carrying equipment to a load carrying vest or load bearing vest. But like the original, the OG chest rig that really got a lot of play was actually a Rhodesian.
Okay. I'm not
And
familiar.
so during the Rhodesian Bush Wars and all this, they started doing these chest rigs, and it was for the FAL. And I will share a picture here because they went, you know what? We're going to have, or they're like, we need to carry more ammo to do more things. And when they got them out and started putting them together, oh, here we go. This is the picture everyone will. All right, let me share the screen quick. And if you look at this, like these guys with their short shorts, they pretty much just had where they were fighting at in Africa. It was all FALs, so they just had their mag pouches made up to hold 2 FAL mags, and had a strap that went around their neck and another one that went around their back. And they would head out to go fight like that. Like that was the kind of the OG. It was one step up from the bandolier of, end block clips from the old Garand.
Mm-hmm.
But that was where it came from. And you'll still see like some was it like it's not Type 81, but it's like a Type 76 or something of that nature, AK chest rigs. Like well, one of our fellow attendees at the class was wearing.
Oh yeah.
And that kind of Chinese style of chest rig to put that on has been being rocked since the Vietnam War.
Oh yeah. That was interesting. The whole thing was like old school 1950s canvas with wood, I don't know, not buttons, but pegs to keep the flaps closed.
Yeah, well, that's an actual like Chinese chest rig.
Oh no, I'm just saying it had a very Chinese aura about it. I just looking at it.
Yeah, so like as we start talking about the modern chest rig, realize that these have been around for a long, long time. And the one like major downfall of chest rigs, like the great thing about them is you can set them up to kind of do whatever. And the purpose for like what we talked about earlier with the Army's TAP kit was they've refined it and made it so that it's more modular and customizable. And it's not just like, 5 pouches that this is what you get. You can kind of set it up to be more to what your mission is. And as they've been brought back more into the modern world, it was originally to be worn over your body armor. So you'd have your body armor on, and then you'd reach over and grab your chest rig and throw it on, because again, you might, depending upon your role, everyone needs a different amount of stuff on it.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing I did want to touch on is just the modularity of chest rigs and gear in general. So as Julie said, like the Army TAP system, for example, which is a chest rig, it's essentially an like an 8, I think it's 8 holds 8 mags.
It can, yeah.
Yeah. So 8 mags, and you can either, use it as a standalone chest rig. You can throw it over top of your plate carrier, and it goes around your plate carrier, or there's actual little attachments that latch into the molly on the plate carrier, and the TAP system will snap into it. Pretty, I'll give it ingenuitive. Now, there are a lot of stuff out, there are a lot of other companies on the civilian market that offer similar things. And I kind of went down the rabbit hole a few months ago when I was looking for my chest rig, because you can have it. What I was really looking for was a chest rig where I could basically interchange my placards between my chest rig and my body armor. Because how slick would that be if I want to run my body armor and then I want to use the placard that holds my AR-15 mags or my SCAR mags or my MPX mags, or have one that's a little more admin heavy versus ammunition heavy, and then be able to alternate that between my chest rig and my plate carrier. That stuff's out there, but you just got to kind of you kind of have to do your research to figure out what's going to work with your particular setup. And unfortunately for me, the particular chest rig that I really liked, just because it flexed with my body really well. It supported the weight on my shoulders really well. And I'm just a big fan of Cordura. I ultimately went with Cry Precision's chest rig. Now, the only bad thing about Cry Precision is it does not play well with others. So I am not going to be able to mix and match it with a lot of stuff out there on the market, which kind of sucks. But I kind of accepted the fact that I was going to build this dedicated chest rig for the Mac and the Governor's 10 and the Winston and that type of stuff, which I hope to be doing for several years. But I just want people to know that these systems can be very modular and work for a wide range of applications. Just make sure you do your research on what you're buying beforehand, because it could really pay off for you.
Yeah, there's a handful of different ones you can go with. Like Tyler mentioned before, not Tyler, Garth mentioned before, I keep a 3 meg chest rig that I just, have along with some other stuff. That's just one that's in my pickup all the time. And it's a handy little, it's less bulky than a bandolier, because I also have some like 6 or 7, maybe even an 8 meg bandolier, from the Army that does the same thing, where it's just a canvas strap that you're supposed to kind of do the same thing with. But those are, well, they're great for like, okay, I'm going to go to the range and here's my little briefcase of magazines. But anything beyond that, they're kind of hot garbage for. But I found this little 3 meg. I mean, it's nothing huge. It's just a little bit bigger than 3 megs that goes around your chest with a padded neck loop. And I said, well, if I can have this and I can still do work at the range with it. I can, use it for other things. And it's just one of those handy pieces of kit. And I bought it off eBay because I'd seen the company before, but the guy who had it didn't like the ATAX camo pattern. So I got it super cheap off eBay.
Right on.
No, I actually really enjoyed running it. I mean, just as far as, like you said, for a minimal standpoint, if you're in a situation of grabbing and going, just need a couple mags for something, it's a pretty little solid carrier. And that's what prompted me to buy a whole bunch of stuff through Amazon, because I didn't really know where else to go. I could have done a little bit more research probably, but they'll work for now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they're all Airsoft rated companies anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say there is a lot of that out there. I think, and I don't airsoft, right? But given the sheer number of airsoft tactical gear out there on Amazon, I think it's obviously pretty big. So when you're doing your research, like even I just now was kind of looking up the top 10 best chest rigs for 2023. And it was intermingled. I had high-end brands that I recognized, like Haley Strategic and Condor, with names that I've never heard of before. And when I clicked on it, it immediately took me to Amazon, right? So, yeah. And now don't get me wrong, I do actually have a guy in one of my old units who, he did buy a just kind of a cool guy one off of Amazon for $100, and he's actually had it and used it for 3 or 4 years now with no problems. Now, extensively, no. In a really intense field environment, no. So I still wouldn't trust it. But yeah, my thing is just buy quality right away is my recommendation.
Yep, and like we were talking, I've had a lot of the other ones, and some of the brands I run, like I have a Cry plate carrier, and if I had it to do over again, I probably would have bought an Agilite, just because I really like that system more.
Oh yeah,
it comes set up way more intuitive in my eyes, but
yeah.
Instead of having to buy a bunch of extra parts to customize it that I have had to do.
Well, and that's actually what I like. I mean, I see a lot of these chest rigs out there where they'll sell it with placards where you got like, 2 AR mag pouches, 2 of these mag pouches, an admin pouch, and it's a whole combination. With the chest rig that I bought, it was just a chest rig, and then you add your, like, I use S-Tac Kiwis. I just added what I wanted to add, and I didn't have to buy like a set placard. I just piecemealed it together with quality parts, and it actually worked way better for me because I was able to build exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, and I have all of mine are set up in the same way as well, that I have to, it's not this is one size fits most. It's nope, I've set them up exactly how I want them to be now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more after looking at a couple of the other ones, I'm like, so I found out that I spent this, I did this, and then I spent this money getting this to where I wanted it to be. And this one does exactly what I wanted it out of the box.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like it comes from the factory with tubes. And
yeah.
I do really like that particular brand. Like I like their 3 meg shingle, probably the most out of any of them I've seen.
Oh yeah.
Just because it's Cordura and it doesn't have the insert, like the Kydex insert, like the Kiwis have.
Right. Okay.
But it's all held in place, and you still have that good retention. But
Sure.
it's done with the way it's sewn. And
interesting. Yeah.
Oh, it's the one where if anybody looked at our Instagram, this is the company who had "This is not a sex machine" of the AR mag going in and out of a mag holder, and
sure,
that is the mag holder because it will go flat if it's empty, or more or less flat.
Mm-hmm.
But then I really like that design, and I've played with them now a little bit, and that would be more apt to be the way I would go.
Do you guys find yourselves with your chest rigs? Do you find them more for competition, or do you have like a everyday shit hits the fan kind of setup on your chest rig as well?
So when we talk about using them for competition, I use chest rigs for very specific, like incredibly specific military classes.
Yeah.
And I would probably never run one in a 3-gun because they take longer to, it is not a perfect solution. It takes longer to do a reload.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you're normally running one of these in conjunction with a battle belt. Most of my, like when I go to these competitions, I'm reloading from the battle belt. The chest rig is just there to basically carry my shit. Right.
Yep.
So when I run out of ammo or when I need to do a mag chain, or I should say, I swap out the mags on my belt. I pull them out of my chest rig, put them down in my belt for quicker use.
Yeah, and when we're doing these events are timed, but the par time is so long that I have never needed to go to the belt for a mag. So I actually won't, just because I have more than enough time to do that. I stage the mags in a very specific way. For, it's like, okay, nope, this one's for here, and it has to do with where my hand goes to grab, where I can reload the fastest. But it's not where you're doing, looking to need to do sub-second, reloads. It's, oh, you're going to do this, and you have 25 seconds to fire 5 rounds, reload, and fire 5 more.
Yeah.
And I've run the belt with it as well, and I just haven't found it as advantageous to go, okay, I'm going to do the belt and all this, other than that's what I'm most used to. Purely because, like, when you're at the Mac at the Winston especially, taking it's opposite of most competition where you want to be done fastest. When you're shooting there, you want to be the last guy breaking a shot.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it's more of a range thing where you just have extra stuff you're holding on to. You've got your battle belt. You're using that. When those are empty, you're putting them in your dump pouch. You have your chest rig so you can restock your battle belt and go about your day.
Yeah, it's the whole thing about it was originally a way to carry more ammo in a place that was more convenient to get at than a backpack.
Okay, perfect.
Because you could carry a little day pack or assault pack full of ammo and have all your mags and that stuff in it. Which you still do carry like a little mini assault pack with you have your water and whatever else things you need, and dope cards or snackies, lickies and chewies and the like. But you still are going to have, it's okay. This is so I have access to everything.
Fair enough.
And one thing I'm a big fan of that I have on mine is I added a dangler pouch, just for admin purposes. So what that allows me to do is, instead of, again, not stacking these big pouches out in front of my chest, this thing's dangling right at my, my lower abdomen region. The Faro Concepts mini dangler, I really like that one. That's really great. The one I'm using right now is a Shellback Tactical. They're fairly inexpensive. I think it's a $30 dangler. And the reason I like that one for a couple reasons. One, it allows me to carry a pen and a marker on the outside, which that is super handy without having to go, dig through an admin pouch. And then this particular admin pouch has two different zip compartments in it, and the zippers are opposite of each other. So one zips one way, the other zips the other. That way I don't have to see it. I can easily feel it. And then I'm able to put, like when I'm just on the range with my local range, I usually have my cell phone in one and
snacks.
No, not so much snacks, but pen and paper in the other.
Snacks.
Yeah, no, I'm that guy who normally brings a camp grill and a small cooler in the back of my truck, so I don't need to keep the snacks on me. I'm full mom van in it. Yeah.
In the future, Tyler, when the package says let it sit 10 minutes, let it sit 10 minutes.
Well, it was like 30 degrees out, so that's like let it sit for 10 minutes in whatever. We had campfire meals, and mine was a little crunchy.
No, someone got a little over, zealous and just couldn't wait the whole 10 minutes and had to eat it at 8.
I'm a fucking fat kid, and I was hungry.
Yeah, I was showing ribs too, and I would.
No, it's so again with like running that, it is funny a little bit when you talk about like everyone just pushing straight out. I know, Tyler, you made a remark at one point about me wearing my plate carrier, and my plate carrier looks tiny on me.
Everything looks tiny on you, Dooley.
But it's it's an extra large plate carrier with I mean it's not the 11 by 14 plates, but it's full size level 4 10 by 13 or 10 by 13 plates or 10 by 12 or whatever they are.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's man, that thing, you shopping at Baby Gap for that or what?
Yeah, it did look like a minimalistic quick deployment one on you. So,
and it's okay, yep, you have it, and it's this is it's some of us are large humans, and having that, the plate carrier runs even smaller, or not the plate carrier, the chest rigs run even smaller.
Yeah,
but sometimes you lose the capability to do things like that dangler, just because like I said, I should have had some forethought and gone and pulled mine in so that I could hold it up and people watching could be like, oh, that's what he's talking about. Or I guess I could, as we
Google searches.
Yes, as I sit here and go, this will make great radio as I type furiously and try and keep conversational.
Yeah, normally does.
Yeah, because it works so well for me.
Yeah.
I, can barely walk and chew bubble gum, but I manage to somehow pull it off sometimes.
Years of practice.
Yeah. All right, so, yes, I need to go back to just regular Google. Not that one.
Other things I recommend, if you're looking at chest rigs, look at the actual shoulder straps. That's really what's gonna drive the comfort of the chest rig itself. Some of them are crossed, meaning they X on your back. Some of them are in like an H pattern where you got a straight strap across your back. Some of them are pure suspenders. Some of them allow you to, some of them have little disconnect clips for easy take on and off. Some of them are like the cummerbund that goes around your back. Some of those are stretchy and flex and move with your body. Some of them are straight up nylon, and it's just a manual adjustment. All of that stuff is stuff you need to consider when you're looking.
By far, get the ones with the straps that cross, or suspender or whatever. The minimalist one that I ran with Dooley's was just a strap around the neck and a strap around the back. Yep. And even though it wasn't that heavy, 3 mags loaded after an hour and a half kind of wears on you. So my personal opinion is get the back strap with it. So
yeah, I'm not saying that one is, but I know like less expensive chest rigs tend to use cheaper type of straps, just simpler, non-flexible. Yeah, so it's worth the investment.
If you look here, they don't make this anymore, but this is the chest rig that I have.
This is the Gray Ghost Assault Gear chest rig that we're looking at right now.
It's and split front, and they don't make it anymore. So it has a set of plastic buckles at the front that clip together, and then it's 2 large MOLLE panels that run along the sides. And then there is an admin pocket in each one of those MOLLE panels.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's another thing to consider, too. A lot of these will have either admin or radio pockets actually built in.
Yes. I really like if you're going to run a straight chest rig, I would recommend running a split rig if your body type can support it.
So for those of you who didn't see it, split rig means you can unbuckle it right in the center of your chest and take it off like a man bra.
Yes, and the reason for that is one, it moves how the load is dispersed across your body and where everything gets held at. Because when you have single pieces across the front, you tend to load everything in the center. Like that's where you'll put your weight right top front dead center, which pulls everything forward. And if you don't train with that stuff a lot, it can actually start to make you tip as you walk because your body's not used to having all that extra weight hanging out in front of you.
Right.
And when you do a split chest rig, it makes you kind of disperse that more evenly around your body.
I'm sure it vents better too in terms of heat dissipation from your body because you got that, don't have that full cover on your chest.
Yeah, so I am a fan of the split rigs, and for my chest rig now, that is what I run. Of course, I say that as I'm like building out another one. That
How many
is
do you have?
what?
How many chest rigs do you have?
I only have.
He's got to count.
Including my issued one? 5.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, they're not that expensive. I mean, most of them, you can pick them up for, under $150. And then if you're somebody who kind of like us, I bet if I bought another chest rig right now, if I bought 2 just chest rigs right now, I could deck it out with enough mag carriers and admin pouches and whatever else I need. I'm to that stage of my life now. I have 2 totes full of random shit that I can pull out whenever.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. But Moonlight Industries has some chest rigs that I am absolutely enamored with. And that'll probably be my next one that I do.
What's unique about them?
Well, other than the fact that they were almost all inspired by the movie Heat.
Mm-hmm.
So they are they'd be a micro chest rig for what most people would call them. But here, let me pull one up. They do have a couple like rather unique ones. Like they have a T style that will just be like 2 or 3 mags on one side. And then let me pull up their website here. There's another one for people who are not large humans. Brave Castle.
What was their website, Dooley said?
Moonlight Industry.
Moonlight. Okay.
Yeah, Moonlight Inns. So as you can see, they have, these getaway drivers are some of my favorite, just because it's, you add them and they have all the different, cool guy colors and stuff like that. But they have a admin pouch. But as they run through, you can see 3 mags with a tourniquet, and that is set up to go hook to a placard if you need to. And again, solid, X harness that has a lot of load bearing space to it. And those are just a super, super solid method in my mind. So for my madness, they're solid. The other one is, as I bring this up, I hope they will come across, and this is still sharing. But so the Brave Castle chest rig, it uses a lot of the same materials that you would see, and of course it's like a super dark website that no one can look at.
But it's cool marketing.
Yeah. So as you go here, like this is set up more like how a plate carrier runs for going around you, but these are actually built for small humans. So they actually make a small one that only has like one mag on the side. So a very petite person can have a proper fitting chest rig as well.
Interesting.
Like it fits around my thigh. But
so it'd be like just clip on your belt. You got a nice leg rig.
Yeah.
One, not saying that one is, but it just made me think of it. One other major consideration to look at when you're looking at a chest rig is the width and thickness of the shoulder straps. So obviously, the wider you go, the more surface area, the more weight dispersion that's going to happen. But with you go thicker itself, you're going to feel that when you shoulder your weapon, and you definitely don't want, or I would highly recommend not getting any that have like any of the plastic buckle clips anywhere near where your shoulder or your rifle is going to be shouldered. It just, to me, it bugs me. It's uncomfortable. It messes with my buttstock repeatability. And again, that's why I kind of gravitate towards Cordura stuff. It is very, very, very flat and does not mess with my buttstock or my shouldering of my weapon whatsoever.
Yep, and you know what else doesn't mess with the shouldering of your weapon?
What's that?
VZ grips. The unique features of VZ is AR grips is they're machined from a solid block of G10. And G10 is great because it's durable and doesn't get slippery when covered in mud, blood, or sweat. The 17-degree grip angle and wide variety of textures from mild to extreme and color options available. 1911 grips, Beretta grips, extreme customizability, standard and slim palm swells, thumb notches, safety cuts, bottom profiles, and more. More than 25 textures and 27 colors are available. This coupon code is good for 15% off handgun grips and rifle grips, and that code is AR-15 pod. But no, that is very much so true with what you're saying about that. And so Cordura is just a type of nylon. Like it has to do with how many denier it is. Like they make saddles out of Cordura, and a lot of the bags will already be made out of it. And then it has to do with it's majority of the tactical nylon is, if it's not Cordura, it will be canvas strapped. And canvas strapping is not as comfortable, but it has a little bit more, or well, it will get waterlogged more. And Cordura straps are nicer.
And they're just easier to manufacture because you can laser cut Cordura. So you get really clean. You get really clean lines. You get really clean cuts, edges, etc. So Cordura is really nice. And even if, going back to my Amazon comments earlier, even if you see stuff that is made out of Cordura, what I found fails on cheap gear is not the material itself, it's the stitching. So, yeah, you can get nice material, but low quality. They're cutting costs on the stitching, and that's what's going to break first.
So the other thing that you can look at is one of the other cool features that you might not realize a lot of things have. And specifically, like when Tyler was talking about his dangler, a lot of those can also be a fanny pack. And
So
all
cool.
the cool guys need a fanny pack.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wanted to get your very own sag bag, also known as a dangler pouch, you could pay $55 for that. But our listeners don't, because they don't have to.
Elaborate.
Because our listeners can get it from Predator Armor. And do you want to keep you and your loved ones safe in this uncertain time? Are you looking for a full kit setup or just to upgrade what you have? Then you need to look at Predator Armor. Quality armor made in America, not some cheap junk from across the Pacific. From lightweight flexible backpack armor to full plate carriers with plates, IFAKs, sag bags, and more. Predator Armor has it all. Use code AR-15-10 for 10% off.
And to go along with the theme of chest rigs, check out Predator Armor's mag pouches. They're a lot like the S-Tech Kiwis, where they have the Cordura outer, I don't want to say shell, but the Cordura outer body with the plastic insert. The difference is, though, they continue the Cordura by making it a laser cut webbing, as opposed to the Molly webbing that's on the S-Tacs. I think it's a little bit cleaner. And then obviously it's Cordura, so it's not holding the moisture and the bulk like the Kiwis are. With that said, I do have the Kiwis, but I shit you not, the Predator Armor mag pouches are really, really cool. Check them out.
You know, I really do enjoy the chest rigs, especially because you can pimp them out any way you want. In fact, most chest rigs have a little bit of Velcro, so you can stick your favorite patches on there, such as morale patches, pop culture patches, or just your run-of-the-mill badass patches. And you can find all of those patches at Patriot Patch, patriotpatch.co.
You know, one of these times we're going to actually space those ad reads out randomly and not do them all at once.
Maybe, but yeah.
Well, guys, any closing thoughts on chest rigs before we close out? I mean, I think that chest rigs are a valuable tool. They are definitely a benefit, a good thing to have, but not like they are a way, but they are not the way, if that makes sense.
This is the way.
Yeah, I would say, spend the extra $50, go for that $150 quality chest rig. It is going to be worth it. Trust me. And you'll get several of them. You're not going to get it. One, you might not get it right on the first time. And two, you're going to try several. I mean, look at Dooley. He collects that shit. And I'm on one chest rig, but I'm sure I'm going to get another. No biggie. Just keep trying them out. Check out, like I do taxswap.com quite a bit. You can get that stuff there. And then, of course, a lot of these companies run really good deals on like Memorial Day or Black Friday. Just kind of keep your eye out. And next time you see something you like, jump on it.
Yeah, I don't know. My first one from Amazon showing up tomorrow. Suck it, Tyler.
Right.
So I'm excited to try it.
Hey, and that works. It's one of those where having those things is important. It's always a learning experience. Like, no one is going to sit here and be like, "Oh, I know them. I know more than anyone else because I did this." It's we might call and ask each other for advice, and that's all we're doing here because it's. We're not saying anyone is wrong for not running a chest rig or right for running one. It's as we said, running a chest rig has a place and a purpose. And if that place or purpose is something that falls into you and your needs, then pick one up by all means. They are handy. And sometimes, I mean, I've also seen it where, I guess tactical games is a poor excuse because they have to do chest rigs. They're not chest rigs, plate carriers. But, if you like swimming with a rifle, you probably aren't going to wear a belt. But, those types of things. And I make jokes about that because I don't know anyone who goes swimming with their rifle on a regular basis.
Not if I can help it.
No, so you guys have anything else?
No,
No.
not yourself.
You were concerned that we wouldn't make an hour with chest rigs.
Yeah, you're so full of it. I can bullshit my way through anything.
Garth said as he has like 38 seconds of talking time this show.
You know what? I would have talked more, but I wouldn't shut the hell up.
Shit, he doubled it.
All right. Well, with that, you folks out there, stay safe and stay armed. Do you want to support the show? Subscribe and interact on social media. AR-15 Podcast on Instagram and YouTube. AR-15 Podcast on Facebook. AR-15 Podcast 2.0 at gmail.com if you just want to drop us a line. Find us online at firearmsradio.net. Click through our sponsors and support the people who support our show. Primary Arms, VZ Grips, Predator Armor, TacPack, and Patriot Patch Company.